Yo guys, what's going on tonight? This is going to be a rather lengthy, I guess, 18-minute chat about the future of things. So we're going to go ahead and get into it. For a while now, people have been kind of asking, what's going on with me, essentially. Um, I've been, for a while now, just kind of deleting the comments because I just didn't really feel like I wanted to deal with them. It was nothing personal. It's just I tried to keep my private life private and such, and um, it's officially snowballed to a point where it's not really going to be so private anymore. So it is currently September 25th, 2023. This video is most likely going to be scheduled to be released in January of 2024. I've been kind of dodging this topic for a while now because I, quite frankly, don't really know how to address it. I can be very good with words sometimes if I'm doing like a eulogy or something, but when it comes to orating what is going on with me, it is incredibly difficult. And so this is going to be my attempt at doing that. At the time of this recording, all of the commentary vids for a Blind Gamer Long Plays arcade series has been released. They've already been pre-uploaded. They're going to run until the end of the year. The work is already done. I know that I have other projects lined up. I do not know if they're going to be my final projects or not. I was thinking maybe at some point we could go and do a series for Sega Genesis and stuff. But I do not know if I'm going to be able to do it or not. So, back in 2022, on November 25th, I was admitted to the ER because my pulse was all over the place. They had no idea what was going on with me. And so we kind of struggled with it. We just knew that my pulse was kind of flatlining. It would speed up, then drop, speed up, then drop. I have been randomly passing out, since then. Haven't really been able to go walking like I typically would to go and take these photos and stuff. They can't really figure out what's going on with me. Been to a lot of specialists. I've more or less been living in the doctor's office, and it's really just not that great. I would never recommend going and seeking healthcare in America because most of them are kind of like, hey, we don't know what's going on, but feel free to come back for like another appointment. I've been kind of stuck in appointment hell for a while. They don't know. They feel that it's either a very aggressive form of MS, lupus, or they feel that it probably has something to do with my neck. Been seeing a lot of specialists off and on, and they feel that a lot of the issues I have stem from my neck. So I have, in my neck, most of it is heavily compressed. It has degenerative disc disease and stuff. And it's, as time goes on, my discs experience a lot of wear and tear and a lot of compression. So they're learning that I have cervical neuralgia as well as chronic inflammation in all of my blood vessels in my neck, which may possibly be leading to nerve damage. So at the time of recording this, I'm scheduled for like a nerve block and an MRI and a couple of other things, and they largely believe that the night sweats are most likely from having an overly active immune system. Tried following it up with a rheumatologist, but she did not want to work with anybody, so I had promptly fired her, more or less. She was young and fresh out of school and very arrogant. So what I've been doing for the last year is trying to get back on the horse, and it hasn't really been happening. Been trying to go and work out. My heart's been crashing. I've literally been the last while just resting in bed. Just resting about as much as I can. And I have been very, very exhausted. I haven't really been doing too much gaming. I haven't really been doing too much of jack shit aside from the occasional update for the YouTube channel, retirement of Twitter, things like that. So medically, I've been a mess for a very long time now. I'm trying to get treatment. It's not really happening. I have some doctors that are great, and they treat me very well. I have other doctors that are, not so great, and perhaps they could work on their bedside manner a little bit. So medically, it's very touch and go. I've been trying to rest up about as much as I can because I'm constantly exhausted. And so this is why I haven't really been cranking out videos like I typically do. And it's why this is most likely going to be the last photo video that I do for a very long time. I can't really get out of the house anymore. I used to hike like 8 miles a day. When the attacks hit, it went from 8 miles to 4 miles. And then from there, it went from 4 miles to 2 miles, and now I'm doing good just walking up to the root of my street, then walking back without my body becoming so inflamed that I can't do anything. So in the future, we're going to be looking at my spine because there's a lot of compression, and they think that every time my spine swells, it damages my nerve endings, more or less, and it slows me down. Other things have been plaguing my life for a while as well. I don't really talk about it that much because I really just don't care to talk about it. Aside from my medical life, my mental health life has not really been doing too well either. I suffer from borderline personality disorder, so constant treatment is key for me. More or less, it's very important for me to have it and stuff. And about halfway through this year, I had lost the support of my clinic. I was going through and getting surgeries done on my legs, trying to basically take care of myself. I had a lot of vascular surgery that I was going through. And my clinic would call and be like, hey, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Are you coming back to the clinic? And I would commonly say, yes, I'm coming back to the clinic. I can't right now, though, because I'm healing up at home. I'm not really traveling too much. I can't really just get up and go all the way out there to you guys. And so eventually they had gotten pissed with me, cut support, had made the claim that I wasn't taking it seriously. And then from there, they had told me that if I wanted to set up a new case, I could. I went to set up a new case. I was promptly denied, so I have, as far as my mental health goes, I have no real support system in place, aside from maybe my therapist, but I don't really like putting too much pressure on her because she's, already strapped. So my mental health life, I feel, has been kind of falling apart for a while. I've been absorbing a lot of wear and tear at a rather unforgiving rate. I've had to bury a lot of people this year. I have had to go and bury a lot of suicides this year. Like, people's mental health is not really getting better, I don't think. And so after a while, it's kind of just taken its toll between my personal health dramas and everything else, being dizzy all the time, nauseous all the time, not being able to work out, care for myself, walking's even a chore at this point, between losing mental health services and having to bury people. Like, it's been kind of just progressively piling up. Had to bury a lot of family this year, and it was incredibly brutal from start to finish. And so I am kind of at the point where I realize I need change. I basically need to try to get this handled, because if I don't, I won't have to worry about it because I simply won't be here. That's what that boils down to. I know somebody's probably sitting there thinking to themselves, that sounds rather dramatic. I'm being quite literal. I basically need to unfuck my medical life. I've already unfucked the rest of my life. That's doing fine. It's about as good as it's ever going to get, but in terms of my mental health life, paired up with my medical life, it is running with such a high level of dysfunction that I am shocked that, I'm even able to keep going at it, more or less. Videos have been cut back greatly. Been having tons of seizures. Didn't know that I was having seizures. They have a tendency to manifest at night when I'm trying to sleep. I'd wake up and I'd be sweating and shaking, and I didn't really know what the hell was going on. I was in and out of the ER. The previous 34 years of my life, I had been to the ER maybe 10 times. This year alone, I've been in and out of the ER like 8 times since the start of January because I'm so unstable that my body's like, I just don't want this, more or less. And so this is what I've been having to deal with for a while now. I've been trying to fix it. I've been trying to unfuck it, but between my physical form falling apart and my mental health not really doing the greatest, and then having to go and constantly fight that particular set of issues in terms of like getting care and stuff, it has been a very, very tumultuous uphill battle. I've been working rather hard behind the scenes to keep everything running very fluidly. I go in and do the fixes and stuff that everybody would expect. But I find that I'm so exhausted a lot of the time that I can't even really function. Like, I literally go to bed, I wake up 5 hours later, still exhausted, lay back down for like 4 more hours, wake up, I'll be good for like an hour or two, and then I'll be exhausted again, and I'll just literally lay back in bed. It's been like that for a while now, and I've been trying to get down to the bottom of it, and it's really just not getting better. With my mental health, I'm doing quite literally everything that I can. I still go and I still do my practices, my exercises for it, but without proper medication support, which I do need, believe it or not. I find that functioning in general is very, very hard. I'm also hesitant to try new meds because when I was taken off of Seroquel, I went from sleeping like 12 hours a day to like not sleeping at all, more or less. So with all these things going on, with the constant fatigue and the cranial nerve issues and the neck nerve issues and everything else, I just can't produce videos like this anymore. Primarily because I can't get out of the house. This was the last batch that I produced, more or less. I haven't really been out to do any sort of hardcore hiking since. I would like to, at some point, resume doing it. I know that I do enjoy doing it, but every time my neck pops, I get eye pain, jaw pain. I'm hoping the nerve block does something. I know that I'm going to need surgery on my jaw joints at some point because they've eroded so heavily that I'm getting twitching in my face and burning in my face from the nerve that rides right above my jaw joint being compressed. So, this is more or less what we have going on. I love taking photos for the channel and having fun with it. I love playing games and making videos out of it, but with all this stuff stacking on me, I find that it is incredibly hard to be a functional human being. I typically weather most chaos well. Strangely enough, I kind of thrive in it a little bit, which is not normal, as you could probably imagine, but this year alone, every time I've had to go and take a hit, my body is kind of like going, oh shit, I need to take a backup of it. Another thing that needs to be taken into consideration is the extreme amount of anxiety that I've been building for a very long time now, well over a year and a half. I do not know if my anxiety is just kind of coming and going, but what I do know is I'm getting really bad, like, panic attacks out of nowhere. I'm not sure if it is a side effect of the Seroquel, because I know that Seroquel has a tendency to make it worse sometimes. And it hasn't really gotten better since I was taken off of it. You know, my heart kind of goes and it flip flops and it skips beats and everything else. Sometimes I'm short of breath, you know, like all of the classic anxiety stuff that you would expect. So, but over the time that I've been taking photos for this channel, I've had a couple of projects that I've wrapped up. I wrapped up the moon project. I did a solid month of moon photos to show all the phases of it and stuff. This video is going to be the last one for this particular style of photography. I wanted to go out and take 365 days of photos of the local area to show how it changes with the seasons and witness various things that go on during those seasons. And it's officially done. I wrapped it up. I'm still going to take cloud photos and stuff, but, you know, it's not going to be quite what it used to be, you know? Like, it's going to have to change, essentially. So, new locations, provided that I survive this mess, are planned for the future. So currently this is going to be the last video that I do for a while. I'm very pleased with how far the channel has come. I don't have a ton of subscribers and stuff, that's fine, it doesn't really bother me, but I'm really content with, you know, people coming in and commenting occasionally and me being able to interact with them. It's been a hell of an experience, but I feel that where I'm sitting at right now, I have to focus on me. Like, I've got to consolidate my life more or less and get that shit together. I got to get on proper meds for this inflammation. If I don't cut the inflammation in my vasculars, I won't have to really worry about anything, because I will most likely wind up having a stroke from the arterial wall thickening. There's just all sorts of things that I have to work on, more or less. So I'm more or less going to fall off the face of the earth, you know, when 2024 hits. Or maybe I'll do it sometime in October, because all the videos are going to be set up to run anyways. So with that thought in mind, I wanted to thank everybody for their time and their effort for coming out, all the comments and stuff, but this is how things have to be for a while. Thank you for your time, your energy, your effort, and as always, be good to yourselves and each other.